I will share my screen, and first let's see the schedule. What syllabus we have got left. Okay.
Nothing shown here. Shown here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Ah.
Now it's come. Yes. Thank you.
So from start, we have started with the introduction, which we have completed. The flow control has been completed. Okay. In the functions, I have explained what is a Python function, function arguments, recursion is left, and modular and packages are left. So today we will cover this topic, while data types have already been covered. So there are only 2 or 3 topics left. So let's get to the uh, problems. Okay, to the topics for today. So in the last class, we talked about what a function is. Can anybody of you recall what a function is?
Maybe function is a set of command by default by the Python.
That is an inbuilt function. I'm just asking about what a function is. Like, what is a particular definition of function?
By user,
A group of
made by
Yeah.
code.
user. Okay. It's a set of command which you call by the program and given name the function name and the call it in the program. A set of command actually
Okay.
as per requirement of the user or the program. Thank you.
Okay. So, Khalil, you are a bit right. Like, it is a set of commands that is written in a block. While most of them who have written on the chat also, they are right. सूरज सर फंक्शन के हेल्प से बार बार एक ही कोड नहीं लिखना पड़ता. या यू आर राइट बट ठीक है. इट्स नॉट लाइक परफेक्ट डेफिनेशन बट ओके इट विल डू
Yeah, they are right.
फॉर
They are,
अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
yeah. I'm audible, Keshav?
So yeah, Amit, you're audible. So let's start with today's topic, that is a lambda function. What is a lambda function? Lambda or an anonymous function is a small restricted function without a name. Okay, it is not a function name. Like whenever we like call any function, let's say we are making a function printing. Okay, let me zoom in. Is the text clear now?
Yeah, Keshav.
Okay, so in the last class we talked about what a function is. So I defined a function with the name printing. Okay, so over here you have to give a name now. After that we gave a name printing. But when you talk about lambda function, it does not require any name. We just can write lambda. Okay, and I sorry, it will be in braces. Okay, when we pass an argument, let's say I want x. Okay, then I use this colon. As always, I use for a function definition. Over here, this x is an argument. It don't consider this as a function name. It is just an argument that is passed. Okay, and then x star 7. Okay, now if I print DNS and then I write in like 7. Okay, and then run the code. It will give me 49. That is 7 into 7. So this 7 is passed into this x. Okay, and then x into x. This will return me the value. This will return me the value. So in a lambda function is a very short function. Okay, so whenever we need something to be really short, any function to be really short and with only one expression, a lambda function can take only one expression. So whenever we need something with just one expression, we use the keyword lambda to denote that this is going to be a lambda function, and then we pass in an argument, whatever argument we need. It's not okay, and then a colon, and then whatever the expression we need to define over here. This is the syntax. I will again tell you the syntax over here. Lambda keyword. Okay, then the argument with a colon, and then your expression. This will return you the value. Is lambda function clear? Like what is the use of lambda function and how what is the syntax of lambda function? Okay, I will repeat again. see the word lambda over here, it is a keyword. Okay, so what is a lambda function? A lambda function is a small line, it is a small restricted function without a name. Okay, like in the previous example where I was talking about printing. Okay, in that function, what we were doing, we were defining a function def with the keyword def and then the function name. Na? But when you talk about lambda function, we don't define any function name. Okay, the lambda is the keyword, which in itself is a function. Okay, and x over here is an argument. See over here, this is a parameter. When I hover on it, see it is a parameter. Okay, and x is a parameter, it's not a function name. While if I go there and if I hover here, see the printing is a function name. Function, then printing is a function name. So lambda is a self-sufficient function which does not require any name, and it is a small function that only takes one expression. Okay, let me show the documentation. Lambda function cannot contain commands, and they cannot contain more than one expression. Okay, there is only one expression, that is z into 4. So that means that lambda can only contain one expression, not more than that. A lambda function can take any number of arguments and returns the same value of the single expression. It can only take one expression as in a line of code. Okay, expression as in a line of code, but it should be only one, and it can take as many arguments as it wants. Let me come to the code. If let's say I give x, y, z, okay, and if I did it as x into y into z and then print 7, it will give me an error because I am passing 3 arguments. Well, I am using 3 arguments, na, x, y, z, but I am passing only one argument, so I have to pass the remaining 2. So let's say I passed 1 and 2, and then I run the code, and then I get the answer, that is 7 into 1 into 2, that is 14. Okay, is it clear now, Rajesh?
Yes, clear to me. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody has any doubt regarding lambda function?
So it is not more than one line, okay?
Yeah, no, it cannot contain more than one line. It is just one
Only one.
expression.
If we need more, then we should use
Then
another one, right? And another,
Yeah.
can we add another line? Is there two lambda function parallelly?
Like 2 lambdas, same thing.
Yes, not same thing. Difference value, difference variable. Yes.
Let's say I am using a comma b comma c. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm just calculating over here as
Numeric
base.
figure.
Okay, you
Numeric.
can use numeric figure also, but
Yeah,
since
yeah.
I'm passing variable, okay, let's say I'm passing nothing. Okay, and then I'm just passing 4 star 7. Okay, so first let me remove this, because this is one function, and then print again, and over here I will not pass anything. Okay, let's run the code. See,
Oh yes.
it ran.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, now you got me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope everybody is clear with what is a lambda function in Python. Okay, so now let's move to what are modules and what are packages. Okay, so what is a module? So what is a module? So what is a module is a module is a, like, what, whenever I think the last class I told you about PyPy. Okay, so let's open PyPy, and whichever module, like let's say I'm searching for Django. So Django over here is a package. Okay, this is a web framework, it is a package. So a module is contained inside a package. Okay, last class in the PPT also I showed you, just give me a minute. Yep. So a module and a package. So a package is a superclass of a module. A set of modules, like when combined together, make a package. So in this particular example where we use Django, it is a package Okay, and it has several other small programs that are written inside it, which are called modules. So right now we will learn how to make modules, okay, and how can we import modules in our own programs, and then I will make you like a package. I will help you make a package. Okay, so let me remove this. But let me say demo is my main function where I have to use the package, and let me create another uh, package. Let's say, and I will name it uh, module 1.py. Okay, and then save it. So let's say in module 1, what I am doing, I am having a function def addition. Okay, and it is taking two parameters as input, a and b. Okay, guys, if you have any doubt, then ask at the same line. Okay, don't wait for me to complete and then ask, because then it will be easier for me to tell you, and it would be easier for you to understand also.
Amit, actually, I just want to know whether it is module is a collection of package, or
No.
package is a collection of module.
Package is a collection of module. Okay.
First
So-
function, then package, then module, right?
Yeah.
Function, module, then package,
correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
So see, let's say I've entered two number in the addition function, and I want the sum to be returned to me. Okay. So what I will do, I will return a plus b. Okay. Now I will come to my demo function, and over here what I will write is import, and what would be the name, module 1. Okay, the name of my file, of my .py file. Okay, it is module 1. Now let's say I have user is inputting two numbers, that is input enter number, and the second is b, and then what I will do, I will call the function, that is I will print. Let's say I am storing the value of the sum. C is equal to module 1 dot addition, the name of my function over here, that is addition. Okay, whenever we want to use something inside a particular file, let's say the function addition is inside module 1 na, so we will use this dot operator. Okay, this periods, we will use this dot operator so that we can go inside the particular file and search for this particular function name. It is not necessary that it is a function name, it can also be a class name. Okay,
But inside this addition, we have to give these two integers. Now, why?
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
have to call it by reference.
I'm giving. Okay, now what I will do, I will print C. Okay, now let's run the code. See, I have to enter number 15, 25. It returned me the output from this particular module. Or if over here I give print a comma b, okay, to check if these two numbers are coming over in this package. Okay, that's why I'm putting print over here. Okay, so that you can understand that this particular two values a and b are coming inside module 1. So let me run the code again, and I will write 15 and 25. See, it is printing a and b, right? First it is printing a and b over from here, and then it is returning a plus b, and then over here we are printing the answer of C. So I think now everybody knows how to make a package. Sorry, a module. Yeah.
Amit, I have one basic question. In this case, should this module 1.py and this demo 1.py, demo.py, both the files should be in the same place?
Yes. It is necessary to keep it in the same place.
Okay. So
you
both
can
the
also
files
you can also install it on your local system also.
install.
Like over here, there is a command to install it. I think it is pip install. No. First, I have to go to the directory now. First I have to go to the directory. Wait. This is my directory for module 1. Where is it? Module 1. Yeah. This is my file. And if I say open with code, this file is opened, and let me go to the command prompt terminal, and then I will write pip install and module 1. Okay, what this will do, this will make this particular package module 1 available to any location on my PC. Okay,
Okay.
so when I run this, it is installing the package and it is successfully installed. Now just look at this location. Okay, this location, that is desktop, and then inside a Parafest 2021. Over here the package was there, a module 1. Okay, now what I will do, I will run this particular package on over here. Okay, in C users and Kesha. So right now I will write Python. Let's say I will just write Python. Okay, and and then I will write import module 1. This is the same 64-bit. Okay, I have to first close the terminal. So let's make a new terminal. So this is a new terminal. So Python, and then I will write import module 1. Still not taking. Let me run this code. It's working. Okay, let me make another file on my over here on my desktop. Okay, I will create a file over here. Hello.py, and then I will open it with code. Okay, and over here I will import module 1, and then I will run the code. Okay, I think there might be an error. I mean, I have to do something. I think I have to do more changes to my pip. That's why it's not working, I guess. But right now, for now only, if we keep the same module inside the same folder, okay, it will work. Like in this example where we were keeping both the files inside, as we were keeping both the files inside this particular folder, like module1.py and demo.py, it was working. Okay, so for now, let's keep both of these files inside the same folder, and then later on I will tell you about it. In the last class also we like talked about what is a global and what are like local and global variables. So we will cover this that topic in this particular lecture also. So let's say I want to like use some more functions over here. Okay, of this particular module. Let's say def subtraction. Okay, that is a comma b, and then I will print a comma b so that I know that I am inside this particular folder, and then I will return a minus b. Okay, and same if I do the same thing with inside this package also, d is equal to module 1 dot subtraction, passing a comma b, and then I will print b. let me give a differentiation over here. Sub now let me run the code again. If I say input number is 15 and the other number is 5, so subtraction is 10 and the summation is 20. So this is how we can make a particular module. It is not necessary that the module should have only one function. It can have more than one function which are interlinked to each other. Let's say over here, what I did was I called this function subtraction from here only. Subtraction. Okay. Subtraction A is, sorry, not A. Diff is equal to subtraction A comma B. Okay. And then what I'm like returning is, and I will keep the sum. The sum is like a keyword. See, the sum is already a keyword, so you cannot use sum as a variable name. So add is equal to A plus B. Okay, then what I will return? I will return diff comma add. I will return these two functions, and over here I will just pass C. Okay, and C comma difference, and let's say I'm renaming it sum as add. Okay, now let me run the code because it is returning two functions, no? Sorry, two variables. It is returning diff also, but it is first returning diff and then add. I will change it over here. Add comma diff. So now it will do this, and over here difference. So I'll run the code over here. I'll write 15 and 10. So see, I got the answer only 20, like 15 plus 10 is 25, and subtraction like 15 minus 10 is 5. So over here you can interlink two functions inside one and pass more than one arguments by using comma, returning comma, and more, like then you can use any number of like parameters also. So I think modules is clear to everybody. Like what is a module? If I use Jupyter instead of VS Code, what will be the steps? Okay, Priyamda. So first you have to install Jupyter Notebook on your like PC. Okay, so pip install Jupyter-notebook. Okay, this will install the Jupyter. I think there is some other command. So it is Jupyter, just Jupyter. The command is just Jupyter, not notebook. It's just Jupyter. Pip install Jupyter. Okay, when you run the command, then what you do? Just write Jupyter and notebook. Wherever this directory is, this directory will be opened on your what to say? What is this? Browser. Yeah, this will be opened on your browser. So you have to first specify the path where you are opening it, and to close, just Control plus C. It will stop the notebook. Okay, so yeah, localhost, that is 127.0.0.1. So now let's move to what a package is. Okay, I've already told that a package is a bundle of modules. More than one module can inside a particular folder is a package. Yeah, Khalid.
Yeah, I'm using online Python compiler. Okay, so how can I use the that one? You previously said that.
Acha, you are talking about how to use
I'm
module part.
Yeah. I'm using online Python. Okay, now Python compiler. Online
Actually,
Python.
I haven't personally used the online compiler like interpreter for Python. I think Amit might be of help over there because he has some experience with it.
Previously, someone tried but can't install Python my laptop. Okay, that's why I'm using. You told me to use online coding. Okay, carry on, please. Later on. Carry on, please.
Okay. Khalil, you just understand that right now.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Then like if like in on Saturdays, like we have doubt sessions now sometimes.
Sure.
So at that time I will like personally give you the time so that you can like practice it. Okay,
thank you.
So now let's see how to make a package. Okay. So first let me open a folder. Okay, let's say I am opening the Parafest folder only, and inside this folder, first what I will do, I will create another folder with the name of my package. Okay, this particular my package. Now what I will do, I will create a new folder, a new application, like a new file inside it. Let's say I have to make a calculator. Okay, so what are the like basic functions like addition? So I will say add.py. Okay, another that is subtraction. So subtract.py, multiply.py, and that another is divide.py. Okay, these are the four, like let's say I have to make these four particular modules. Now what I will do, you have to create another module that is with the name of underscore underscore init in it, then underscore underscore dot py. Okay, this is the like this you have to do, you have to make this extension like this particular file, so that Python understands that this particular folder is a package. Okay, so you have to make this file inside the particular folder. Okay, now let's move to add. What I will do over here, let's say I have to make a function. I will use a function that is def addition, and I will pass a comma b. I'm doing the same thing, exactly the same thing that I was doing with modules, but in a different way. So it's a comma b. Now what I will say, like return a plus b. Okay, same I will do with subtraction, that is def subtraction a comma b. Okay, and then I will return a minus b. Same with multiplication, def multiply a comma b, and then what I'll do, I will return a star b, and same goes for divide, a comma b, and then return a by b. Okay, now I have created all the four like modules inside my package. Okay, is everything like is it clear till now? Is it clear till now to everybody, like how to what the steps are?
I just need to just get the first, very first step that you created the package.
Okay.
I just
So wherever your directory is, okay, let's say I want to use this demo.py. Now I have to use this package inside my demo.py.
sorry.
I have to
Demo.
use .py.
Okay.
Okay, I have to use demo. I have to use my package. This particular all the four functions inside demo.py.
Okay.
So wherever your demo.py is, over there create a folder my package.
Okay.
Okay, then inside that particular folder create 4 files or more than 4 files with whatever the functionality should be.
But is it a folder that you created as my package?
Yeah, it is a folder.
Okay. Okay.
And inside that, whatever like .py files you have to add it. Let's say I'm adding 4 files, that is add.py, divide.py, multiply.py, and subtract.py.
Okay.
Okay, then you have
This
to make
demo.py is a file that you created it, no?
yeah, beforehand I created it.
Okay. Okay. And that is the home file where we are going to use all these other files.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay. So on short, that the file, the source file, and all this package files should be in the same location. That is what your point is.
Yes, the folder, the my package folder and demo.py should be in the same directory.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and whatever the other packages are, that is add, divide, multiply, subtract, that you want to use as a package should be inside my package file folder, sorry. Okay, and then you have to make a necessary file with the name of underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. Okay, I will write it on the chat. That is underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. Okay, this is the, like, this is a necessary file you have to use. So now let's move to .init package. What we will do here, we will import whatever we have like added over here. Let's say I've added add, divide, multiply, subtract. We will tell the we will tell the Python interpreter that these particular files are inside this like in this package. Okay, so that it is easy to import for Python interpreter. So what I will write is from dot implying in this particular directory. Okay, import. What to import? Add, comma, multiply, comma, divide, comma, subtract. I think multiply. Acha. I made an error with the spelling. Okay, just keep it in mind. I did multiply. Okay, so just see to it. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just import from dot import add, multiply, divide, subtract. Okay, I have to like import these four. I have to use these four files. So now I will go to my demo file. Okay, over there, what I will do, from my package. Okay, import star. Okay, so now let me tell you what. Let me see the package name. It's P. It's a capital P. Let me first tell you what this star implies and what we are using. This is from implying from where we have to import. Okay, from my package. My package in meaning from this particular folder we have to import. Star implying all the files that is inside whatever is inside this. We will like import all those. Okay, is it clear? Star implying whatever is inside this my package folder, we will import all of them. Is it clear?
Yes.
So now what I will do, I will like print statement. I will use the print statement so that I get all the outputs. Okay, don't get confused with the statements over here. So I will do addition, that is add, comma, add, and then pass a comma b. Okay, then print subtraction, that is think subtract. Okay, add dot addition. Sorry, add dot addition. Yeah, subtract dot subtraction a comma b. Okay, and then print mul, that is multiply dot multiply. Okay, that is a comma b, and then print divide, comma, divide dot divide a comma b. I think divide has function divide. Okay, so now let me run the code. No, I don't have to run this. I have to run demo. Okay, so now I'll run demo. So it is asking me for a number. Let's say I give him a number as 20 and the other number as 5. So see over here. It returned me with the values: addition as 25, subtraction as 15, multiply is 100, and divide as 4. So it used the package, the my package folder, inside whatever was there. It like took all the files, imported all the stars, star implying all the files. Okay, so add is a file, subtract is a file, multiply is a file, and divide is a file. Okay, and addition is a function inside add. Addition is a function inside add. So as I've already told, a module is inside a package. So this is a module and the my package has all the modules. Okay, Rajesh, is it clear? Like what a module and what a package is?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay, is everybody clear about it? Uh, do you have any doubt, Cheesy? If you have any doubt, just ask.
Please, can you go through it one more time?
Like the whole my package part.
Yes, the module and the package.
Okay, so let me go with it once again. So firstly, you have to create a file, a folder with my package name. Okay. Then inside the folder, you have to add whatever Python files that you have to use as a module. Let's say I want to use add, divide, multiply, and subtract as my modules. Okay, and this my package folder should be where the demo.py is. Okay, it should be like where it should share the same directory. Okay, it should not be anywhere else. It should be inside the same folder where demo.py is, the my package folder. Okay, now you have to like add another Python file, that is underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. Okay, this is a necessary file. It will tell the Python interpreter that where you have to search for these particular files, like add, multiply, divide, and subtract. Okay, it will tell the Python interpreter that where these files are. Okay, so whenever we run an import statement in the demo file, whenever we run an import star, okay, what Python will do, Python will go to this init py. Okay, it will go to this init py and search like if there is any package with the same name as we have used over here. Like if we have used like add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, first it will search like if these particular modules exist. If they does not exist, then it will give an error. Okay, let's say I remove subtract. Now let me run the code. Okay, see over here, it is coming in underlined. Subtract is not defined. Okay, so first let's go 15 and then 5. Now see, it is giving me an error. Name subtract is not defined because there is still a package subtract. Okay, there is still a module inside my package folder subtract, but we removed it from initiation in init file. Now again, if I add subtract over here, okay, then what it will do, it will show me. Let me run the code again. 15 and 5. Now see, it again starts running. Okay, is it clear why are we using init.py? Because whenever we run a code, the Python interpreter will first go and search inside this file init.py, and then only it will allow us to import other like import functions or import packages or import other modules also. Now is it clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I think now everybody is like familiar with what a package, what a module, and how to create custom packages and custom modules. Guys, please respond.
Maybe clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got just one response. Where are the other people?
Yes, got it, man.
Okay. Guys, only till now I received 2 acknowledgements. Sorry, 3. Okay. So now let's move to the interesting part. Okay. Now let's go and solve some questions. Everybody
Actually,
just yeah.
it is like a function is an individual model, and group of function is
Module.
group of functions are models, and group of models is a package, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. So now let's go to the interesting part, that is programming. So guys, I think everybody should like if they're using mobile phones, then just switch to your laptops. Okay, it will be easier for you to code. I will share my screen. I will share the programming questions which you have to try right now and answer me in this comment section. Okay. So in the last class we used the we found the error and solved this. Okay, and in the last class itself I told you the answer to this. We discussed the answer to this function, or so to this pattern, the star pattern. Correct. Now let's I want everybody to solve this question. Guys, is everybody ready to solve problems? Hello. Guys, are the rest of you also ready? I just got a one yes. Okay, so I think then I will solve the question if anybody is not trying, because guys, we are doing this for you. We are making this practice session for you so that you can have a good grasp on programming. You can do programming easily. You can develop logic.
Can you show me the question again, please?
Yeah, okay. Just remember what you talked about in the last class, like how I showed you this particular answer. It is a similar representation of data. Khalil, are you trying?
Not trying actually. I like to know that can I use the compiler, this one? Can I try by compiler, online compiler?
Yeah, you can do.
If I can?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Try.
I think there is the space, blank space after 5. That is second column. Okay, top of the second column. Beside one.
yeah.
No, we said one. Yes, there. 1, 2, 3. Yes, blank space, and then blank.
No.
Four blank space.
Just don't think about this. Oh yeah, when we talk about blank space before, na? Like before star, there were 4 blank space in the last question, na?
Yeah, but this is
That time it is difficult.
after one.
After one, so
Yeah,
after one you just move to the next line.
four, yeah,
Okay.
4 blank space.
Don't think about the blank space after that. Just move
I
to the
see.
next line. When the space is before the desired output, na, then we have to think like before in the first line over here before the star there were 4 spaces, na.
Yeah,
That's why we have to think. But over here, like, is there any space before one?
I think. Is it column wise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 15, like this.
Just there is a like an algorithm over here. You can like you just see the pattern, like how the pattern is working. Just see the pattern. You can understand the
Yeah.
pattern over here.
1, 2, 3, 4. After 5 line, it's got a blank line, blank, then 6.
See, once you like move to the next line, you cannot come back to the same line. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Once you like you're here. Okay. Once you go to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
line, you cannot
yeah.
never come back to one.
Oh, I
You will
see.
have to go to 3 only,
Or one by
or you'll
one,
sit in the
line by
same
line.
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 Yeah. So think of it like it is a set. One is a set. Okay. 2 6 is a set. 3 7 10 is a set. 4 8 11 13 is a set. Think of it like that.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm maybe not capable to write down. Okay, anyway, I'm following you. Thank you.
Whoever are trying, just visualize the pattern over here. Like in the first line, there is no new number. In the second line, okay, we are adding a number, and the difference between both the number is 4. In the third line, we're again adding a number, and the difference between both the numbers is 4. And then whatever the next number is, it is 3. Same goes for the next line, that is the fourth line. Okay, over here the difference is 4. Then when we talk about 8 and 11, the difference is 3. And then we talk about 11 and 13, the difference is 2. Okay, and then it is keeping on decreasing. So see the pattern over here. I've told you the pattern only. Three more minutes, try it, then we will solve it. Just 2 more minutes, guys, then we will like solve the problem. So now let's move. I will solve the problem. So let me first copy the whole program, like the whole output. Okay. So now see, in the first line it is printing 1. Okay, and how many lines are there? 5. So the loop will go from for I in range, okay, from 1 to 6, because -1 lines will be printed, so we will go from 1 to 6. Now as a line is going, like let's say for in the first line only one element is printed, in the second line only 2 elements are printed, in the third line only 3 elements are printed. So I have to restrict my column to the number of lines. Okay, so for j in range 1 comma I plus 1. Okay, now this will restrict how many number of numbers are printed in one particular line. Like if it is line 2, then only 2 numbers will be printed. If it is line 3, only 3 lines will be printed. So now what shall we do? Now let's print I. Okay, it won't be I, actually it will be k. And what I will do, I will initialize a is equal to I in the start. Okay, in the next line, what I will do, after printing k, I have to append end equal to a blank space. Okay, now what shall I do? K is equal to I. Okay, now what I have to do, k plus 5 minus j. I think it shall work. It should work. Now I will what to do, print in the next line. Okay, it worked. Okay, the output is the same as 1 to 1, 2, 6, 3, 7, 10, 4, 8, 11, 13, 5, 9, 11, 15. See the output, it is same. Okay, so now let me explain how the output came. Guys, is everybody understand, like hearing me? Rajesh, you were trying, did you do it? Yeah, Khalil, you want to say something? Okay, what did you get? Like you didn't get the like the answer. Just share your code, Rajesh. Okay, for I in range, row in range I. Okay, that's fine. So print row plus 1, comma and with a space. I guess you got the output as 1.
I got it as like 1, 1, 1. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to the first column is exactly right, but from in the second column, instead of the additional like 6, 7, 8 something, it has gone like 2, 3, 4 again. So the same number has been printed next to each actually.
Okay, okay.
So I was just trying to sort it off, but you fixed it.
Okay, so let's see how the output over here is going. Okay,
Too much of brainstorming, man.
In the last class only I told you na ki that the first for loop is for the number of lines, correct?
Yeah.
So there are 5 lines, so I have to go to the loop till 6. Okay, now in the particular pattern, okay, see 1 is coming, since 1 will be printed in every like always in the first line only, so I have to omit 1. I have to like forget 1. I have to start with 2. Okay, so 2 and 6. So what is the difference over here? 4. Correct. The difference between 2 and 6 is 4. So how to get this 4? Okay, how many lines are there? 5. Cool. So let's say I will take a variable k and initialize it with the value of I. So what is the value of I that in the first loop? That is 1. Okay. Now for j in range from I till 2, so it will run only one time. Correct. Now it will run only for one. What it will print over here? It is 1 with a space. Okay, and then I'm recalculating k. On recalculating k, I will get k is 1, so 1 plus 5 minus 1. It will give me 5. Okay, but since we are limiting it to only one variable for in the first loop, only one time it will be printed. So it will go out of the loop and then it will change the line. Okay, it will move to the next line, and then again when I is 2. Okay, the value of k will also be 2. Now what will happen in this over here? It will run 2 times when j is 1 and when j is 2. So let's say start with when j is 1. When j is 1, what will be printed over here? The value of k is 2. Okay, with a space. Now in this part, what it will do? It will do 2 minus 5 plus 1. That is 6. Sorry. 2 plus 5 minus 1. Sorry. 2 plus 5 minus 1. That is 7 minus 1, which is equal to 6. Okay. Now, again, for a second time when the loop will go, when j is equal to 2, then what is the value of k? It is 6 from here. Right? The value is 6. Now again it will go to the next line, and then it will check for like the condition over here. Since it will just execute for 2 times. Okay, so it will not be looped again. It will come to the for loop of I, where the value of I will increase to 3. Now the value of k is 3. Like, is everybody understanding?
Yeah. Just go ahead.
Okay. I think. So, what did you get the output? You got Priyanshi. What did you get the output? And Cheesy, I think like the code is wrong. Okay, because that will print every number after 4 intervals. Let's say first time it will print 1, then it will print 5, then it will print 9, then 13. Okay, it won't print whatever we like printed over here. Okay, so now in the third time the value of k will be 3. Okay, now the loop will execute 3 times because there are 3 numbers, right? It will execute till 3 times. So now for the first time, what will be printed? The value of k, that is 3. Okay, in the second part, what it will do? 3 minus 3 plus 5 minus 1, that is equal to 7. Okay, so for the second time, what I got the output? 7. So I will get the output 7. Again, see the value of j is now 2. Okay, it is not 1, it is 2 now. So over here, what it will do? 3 plus 5 minus 2. 7 plus 5 minus 2. Because the value has changed. Value of k is 7 now. So 7 plus 5 minus 2. That is 12 minus 2 is 10. Okay. So 10. Again it will go here. Now the value of j is 3. And so over here 10 will be printed. Okay. Now the value of j is 10. Sorry, k is 10 and value of j is 3. So over here what it will do? It will give 12. Okay. But after 3 times it won't be executed. So it has no value. Again it will go and the value of I will change to 4. Similarly, the value of k will also change to 4, the first number. Now, what it will do, it will run till 4 times. So the first time the value of j will be 1. Okay. Now we are in this line. Okay. In this particular line, we are in this particular line. First time 4 will be printed. Now k is equal to 4 plus 5 minus 1. That is 9 minus 1. That should be 8. Okay. So see, 8 is printed. So it will go again. Now the value of j will be 2. And what we print is 8. Okay. Now, since the value of k is 8, so 8 plus 5 minus 1, which is 12. Correct? So now again the for loop will be executed, the j loop, this loop will be executed, and the value of j will be 3, and what is printed is 12. Okay. So now again we will come to this part, which is 12 plus 5 minus 1, which is equal to 16. Sorry, that is 17 minus 1. Sorry. It will be 11. Sorry, I didn't minus the value of 2 last time. It will be 3. So 12 plus 5 is 18. 18 minus 3. Sorry, 17 minus 3 is 14. It should be 13, na? Okay. So 12 plus 5 minus 4 is 13. Okay. So now it will again go over here, and the loop will increase till 4. Okay. And over here it will be 13. Okay. Now again when we go, since we cannot go again, so it will exit this for loop and then go to the I loop, and the value will increase to 5. Now the k value is 5. Okay. It will go from 1. So what is the value? Starting value is 5. So now 5 plus 5 minus 1, which is 9. So 9 will be printed. The value of will also change to 2. Okay. Now again the value of k is 9. Na? So 9 plus 5 minus 1. Okay, 9 plus 5 is 14 minus 2, not 1, 2. That is 12. Okay, again we will come here. The value will increase to 3 and 12 will be printed. Now 12 plus 5 minus 3, that is 17 minus 3 is 14. Okay, so 14 is the k value. Now again it will go to the for loop. Okay, it will increase to 4, and what is printed is 14. Now it will come here. It will come and give 14 plus 5 minus 4, that is 15. Okay, now again it will go over here. The value will change to 5, and this is 15. And since like after 5 it won't be executed now, because it will be executed maximum of 5 times. So it will come over here, and then again when it tries to go to the for loop, since it is already 5, it won't go further, so it will exit over here. Is the whole procedure like understood?
The major part is only that k is equal to that part actually. Only that is the basic logic, isn't it?
Yes, that this k part,
Yeah.
where we are calculating this, and
Yeah.
every time whenever a new loop is for I is like every time a new line is there, we are again like keeping the value to I. The k value is equal to I. So okay, 1 2 6 3 7 10 4 8 11 13 5 9 2. Yeah, this is the correct output. Acha, I think you're getting this output in a new line, na? So for
Yes.
this, use this statement, like after print, where you're printing it, use this comma and is equal to and like single quotes with a space.
Okay.
Okay, try it. You will get the answer. Okay, so I think this particular program was understood by everybody. If If anybody wants to note it, just like take a screenshot.
But anyhow, we are going to share it on a video, right? YouTube.
Yeah, I will share it on the YouTube video also. Okay, so I think this is for if statements. Let's make a new program today. Okay, in the last class we all have learned about what a while statement, like while for loop, does. So let's take an example for a while loop. Okay, let me search for a number that is called automorphic number. So what is an automorphic number? A number is called an automorphic number if and only if the square of the number of the given number ends with the same number itself. Okay, for example, let's say what is an automorphic number is whatever number is, let's say n is equal to 25. Okay, so what the value of n square, okay, n square should end with 25. Okay, what is the value of n square? Sorry, I mean 25 square. It is 625, correct? So in the end of the number, whatever the number is, whatever n is, there should be that particular number in the last. Got it? What is the definition of a automorphic number? Okay. So let's take example of 76. So this is 76. Let me open the calculator. Okay. So what is the square of 76? 76 into 76. It is 5776. Okay. So in the last two digits of the number is 76 the number that we have the square of. We have the square of 76. So in the last of two numbers should be 76. Then we can call 76 as an automorphic number. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear now? Like what an automorphic number is? Or should I explain? Give another example? Okay, so let's start with the code. So first I will ask the user for the number input. Okay, and so enter number. Okay, so now what I will do first, then I will calculate the square of the number. So let's say I'm keeping the value of square in SQ equals to n double star 2. I think everybody knows what the double star does. It is used for power. Okay, so now let's go for while n is greater than 0. For that, what I will do, I will copy the value of n in m is equal to n. Okay, so now what I will do first, I will calculate how many, like what is the, how many number digits does the number n has. Okay, how many digits number n has. So for that, what I will do, I will use a count. Okay, c is equal to 0. Cool. Now what I will do c plus equal to 1 when n is equal to n by 10. Okay. It will do the same thing only. So let me now print. First, let me see how what the count is. Okay. So let's say I input 25. So it gave me the length of the number, like it is 2-digit number or 3-digit number. Now what I will do, I will run another while loop. While okay, m is greater than 0. I think again I have to keep the variable Okay, so m is equal to c is equal to n. So not c, sorry, x. So now I will check if m is greater than 0. Now what I will do, I will do digit of the last number. So d is equal to sq, okay, modulus. Now we'll open square brackets. Now what to do? 10 raised to power c. Okay, and acha, for this I don't think I need a while loop also. So whatever the count is, I will raise it to the power, and if d is equal to x, okay, I will print automorphic else print not. Okay. So let me first run the code and then I will explain what is happening. Let's say I enter 25. Okay, so as I told you that 25 is an automorphic number. Again, let me run with 76 and see, again I get the output. Okay, so see in the first line, I mean, can anybody like explain if they got the answer? Like if they understood what is happening over here? Can anybody explain? Guys, can anybody explain? Hello. Did you not get it, or
Sir, second last number is square root.
which one?
Sir, every number is second last is square root number.
You mean to say like the 25 is if the square of 25
Yes.
is 625, so the last
Yeah.
number is the same number, na?
Yes, sir.
It's not necessarily the last number also. You know, let's take an example of a 3-digit automorphic number. Okay, let me search 3-digit. So I think 625 is also 376. Okay, let's take 376. Okay, let me run the code. 376. See, it is not necessary the last two number is only a automorphic number. Okay, that's why we are using the count, this count. See, we are using this count to know that how many number of digits are there, so that we can understand. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so let me explain the code. So in this part, what we are doing, we are copying the value of the number in x and m. Okay, in the next line, we are calculating square. Okay, we are initializing the count with 0. Now we are checking if n is greater than 0. In the last class, I think I like showed you a program where we were printing all the digits of the number. Okay, it is the same. Now what we will do over here, we are increasing the count is increasing for each digit. Okay, whenever we get a digit, we increase the count so that we do know how many counts are there. In this part, we are dividing it by 10. Okay, so that we get how many numbers are there. Whenever you divide a number by 10, let's say I break this number 25. Okay, when I divide it by 10, the first output will be 2 when we talk about integers, and then the second output will be 0. Correct? So I got two numbers now, 2 times the whole function ran. So like this, we can like break and check for how many digits are there. Okay, so that's why I'm printing C after this while loop, so that I get to know how many number of digits are there. So it is printing number of digits. Now, this is a very I think you will get it complicated, but it is really easy, this part. Okay, so what we are doing, we are modulating this modulus operator. What it will give, it will give the remainder, correct? So let's say I have a 3-digit number, that is 376. Okay, and the square of the number is is 141376. Okay, so it is 141376. So when we count it, okay, see how where we will get the where we will get this 376. Okay, in the last 3 digits. So when we divide this number by 1000, okay, can we get the last three, like the remainder? When we divide this number by 1000, what will be the answer? 141 with 376 as a remainder, correct? Guys, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we are trying to do is, we are like removing the last 3 digits or last 2 digit based on the number which we are given. Like if it is 25, then we will remove the last 2 digit, that is by dividing by 100. Okay, but now when we are dealing with 3 digit numbers, we are dividing it by 1000. So this 10 raised to power c implying how much digits are there. If there are 3 digits, then 10 power 3 is 1000. So we are dividing the number by 1000 and getting the remainder, that is 376. Now in this statement we are checking if the number, that is x, which is the original number, and the d, that is the number which we got as a remainder by dividing the number by 10 raised to the power of count. If both of them are equal, then we will print automorphic, else it is not automorphic. I hope this is clear to you, everybody, now. Guys, you can also like respond in the chat. Okay. Great. So if I give any like all of you assignment to complete for tomorrow, would everybody, like I would get positive results by tomorrow? If for the next class I give you some like homework so that you can practice by yourself, so will you all be like getting, you all will be answering the question and giving us back the feedback? Okay, so let me give another number. I'm like, I think it's Armstrong number. Okay, so what is an Armstrong number? So an Armstrong number is, okay, let's say I've entered 3-digit number, that is 373. Okay, or so not 370, let's say 153. Okay, so what I will do, I will first calculate how many number of digits I have, that is 3. Okay, then what I will do, I will raise each digit, that is 1 raised to the power 3. Okay, 5 raised to the power 3, and 3 raised to the power 3. Okay, after getting it, what I will do, I will add all these. Okay, so what will be the output? 1 raised to the power 3 is 1, plus 5 raised to the power 3 is 125, plus 3 raised to the power 3 is 9. Correct? Sorry, 27. Sorry, 27. Okay, this is the output. Now let's add it. So what it will be? 14, 12 plus 1, 3, and it will sum out to be 153. So an Armstrong number is a number, okay, when the each digit, the sum of each digits power raised to the power of the number of digits, okay. When the each digit is raised to the power of the number of digits and all of them are summed up, then it is called a Armstrong number, when it is equal to whatever the number we have given as input, okay. So I think this will be your homework, what an Armstrong number is, and to write a Python program for an Armstrong number. I will share it in the WhatsApp group also today, so that everybody tries it for tomorrow. And I want results by tomorrow, please, guys. It's for your own benefit, so that you can develop some logic, some programming logic. Khalil, you always say you will try, but you like always tell me that I will try, but you never like answer in the class. I want some feedback from you also. Like you should answer some questions. Then only you will like know Python. Else you won't be like understanding what Python is. So if you have any doubt, then just ask.